Alright, Jets fans, we are back here for the Year 3 playoffs against the Anaheim Ducks. And let's go ahead and take a look at our first round opponent, Anaheim, see how they matched up this year. They went 50, 25, and 7, much better than us. Nico Dawes looks like their starting goaltender. They have Pavel Mintyukov, Robbie Fabry, McTavish, Leo Carlson, Zegras, Troy Terry. Looks pretty good, pretty solid team there. Any injuries for them? Owen Zellweger, 2 to 3 weeks. We won't have to worry about that one right now. Let's look and see how they did during the regular season. Troy Terry was their leading point scorer with 81 points. They were third in goals, first in goals against, so they did win that Jennings Trophy, 19th in power play, and 10th in the penalty kill. And with that, let's quick have a look at our roster one more time, just to see how we're squaring up. We do have Hellebuck again, and then Connor, Scheifele, and Ehlers on that first line. We do not have any injuries. And so for this round, again, we'll just sim the first couple games, and then for the elimination games, we'll jump in and watch the last couple minutes if the game is close. So let's get started. We are on the road at the Honda Center in Anaheim, and we lose that one 4-3. Not a good start. Foudy with 2, Kyle Connor with a goal, and let's check our special teams now in the playoffs. 0 for 2 on the power play. So let's go ahead and sim to game number 2. Here we are, game number 2 in Anaheim once again, and let's go ahead and sim and see what happens. A 4-1 loss to Anaheim. And Zegras with a hat trick, Terry 2 assists, and nothing for us really. 1 goal in the third period, scored by Mark Scheifele. And we were 0 for 1, they were 0 for 2, so looks like their kind of offensive play is working. If we lose the next game at home, I will have to make some line changes just to try to spark some energy here. And we are back home for game 3 in Winnipeg. Let's go ahead and sim and see what happens. We lose that one 3-2, so okay, that is definitely not good. Zegras with another 2 goals. Klang 949. How are these special teams here? The Ducks were 0 for 2, and we did not have a chance on the power play, but I'm going to go ahead and make some line changes here real fast to hopefully spark some energy, because we cannot get swept out of the first round to the Anaheim Ducks, and I'll bring you back when I'm done. We're back here at game number 4. I'm just going to go ahead and sim and see what happens. I did make a couple moves for the lines. If we get swept, we get swept, I guess. It wasn't our year. Let's go ahead and sim. And we lose 6-5 in overtime. It is a 4-game sweep of the Winnipeg Jets by the Anaheim Ducks. Kyle Connor tried with a hat trick. Robbie Fabry had 4 points. Newhook had 3 points. We lose 6-5 in overtime. We each scored 3 goals in the third period. That would have been what a way to end. Trevor Zegras, Alex Newhook, Leo Carlson, Connor, and Ryan O'Reilly. We were 1 for 3 on the power play. They were 0 for 1. That was such an embarrassing way to be swept out of the playoffs like that in year number 3. We did not win a game on home ice at all. So I guess we're going to go ahead and sim a couple days here, see how the first round of the playoff goes for everyone else. We're back here for the second round of the playoffs. As you can see, it's Utah and Dallas, Edmonton and Anaheim, Pittsburgh and Montreal, Washington and Philly. So we're going to go ahead and sim a week up to May 1st just to see what happens in round number 2. It is Saturday, May 1st. Our top-selling Winnipeg jersey, Scheifele, Hellebuck, Morrissey, Ehlers, O'Reilly. Our development report. Nothing too much towards the end. Trey Augustin, skating went up by 1. That's good. Up to a 13. In a couple years, he should be ready. Thomas Milic, a rebound, +1. Up to a 14. That's perfect. Braden Yeager, checking went up to a 13. Diego Budazzoni getting open, went up to a 13. That's nice. Checking for Sawyer Dingman, up to a 10. Kalen Jordany getting open, a +1, up to 12. Samuel Hellenis passing went up by 1 to a 15. Hudson Thornton balance, and Ehlers and Morrissey were the negatives. The top selling jerseys for The month of April, Eric Carlson, number 1, Darcy Kemper, number 2, followed by McDavid, Caulfield, and Draisaitl. So we're going to go ahead and delete those. We were very embarrassingly swept out of the first round of the playoffs. So our finances, we're going to change this down to 5. Our morale is just going to go down to a +3 because we're back to the off season now. Our scouting, the tournaments, we're going to go to the Memorial Cup, all 3, the World Championships, and the Carlson Hockey Games. And with that, let's check the morale, the harmony. Quiet hostility, I'm just going to go ahead and try to intervene here. Someone left, which was good. Let's see. Sean Couturier abandons the click, so that's a pretty good job by the captain, Mark Scheifele there. So we're going to go ahead and sim 2 Hall of Fame nominees. A new click forms on May 2nd. It is Taves, Jordan Martinook, Couturier, and Alex Nedeljkovic. And our Hall of Fame nominee is going to be Teppo Numminen as our 1 Hall of Fame nominee for the class of 2027. And we're going to go ahead and delete those, and we will sim ahead one day, and then we will sim ahead one more week. And here we are at the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. It is Edmonton against Dallas in the West, Pittsburgh and Washington in the East. That would be a great series. So let's go ahead and sim another week and see what happens. We are back for the finals between Washington and Dallas. Number 1 seed Dallas against number 3 seed Washington. Let's go ahead and have a look at these teams. See how they fared. Dallas, Jake Ottinger in the net, Miro Heiskanen, their captain, with Adam Bennett, Jason Robertson, Logan Stankoven, Matt Duchene, Mason Marchment, and Wyatt Johnston. Anyone injured there? Rupe Hintz was injured 3 to 4 months, and they still made it to the finals. And he actually just got injured probably the last or to the second last game of the season. How did they do? 4th in goals, 2nd in goals against, 1st in shots per game, 1st in power play, 25.5%, and 18th in penalty kill. They did have a 100-point player in Rupe Hintz, 92 for Jason Robertson. And let's have a look at the Washington Capitals. Their goalie is on fire, Logan Thompson. Only a 2.5-star player, but he's getting it done for him when he's hot. Goalie makes all the difference. They have Jacob Chikrin, Zach Jones, John Carlson, their new captain, Luca Cagnoni. They have Cole Perfetti and Ivan Mirshenko, Dylan Strome, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Hendrix Lapierre, Andrew Mangiapane. And let's have a look at their ratings. Pierre-Luc Dubois was a 50-point scorer. He was their leading point scorer. They were 22nd in goals, 11th in goals against, 32nd in power play at only 12.5, and 5th in penalty kill. That just goes to show you that when your goalie gets hot, you can win a lot of games, and you don't even need a good one. He's only 2.5 stars at 30 years old. So let's go ahead and sim the finals. And we're back here on Tuesday, June 1st. Our top-selling jerseys are Scheifele, Hellebuck, Morrissey, O'Reilly, Ehlers. Our development report: Justin Carbonneau, passing and stick checking. Now, Ivar Stenberg, defensive read, went up to a 15. And Alphonse Frisch, as a defenseman, his hitting went up to a 13. Zachary Savoy, his hitting went up to 11. Not sure why that one went up, but I'll take it, I guess. Matthew Soto, defensive read, up to a 13. Ryan Brown, offensive read, up to a 15. Kalen Judry, defensive read, went up to a 13. A lot of defensive gains for offensive players. Brendan Brisson, bravery, and Simon Edvinson, his passing went up by 1 to 15. And all of these negative: Couturier, Hakanpää, Mayfield, Morrissey, Nedeljkovic, Scheifele, Vetrano. And the best-selling jerseys for May: and McDavid, Robertson, Carlson, Bouchard, Draisaitl, and Cole Caulfield. We will set our monthly budget, which is still going to be at a -5 there, a 3 and a +5. Let's check the harmony. We're still pretty happy. Let's go ahead here. And 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, here we go. Let's try our luck again and see if we can intervene in one of these clicks. And a click disappears. That's fantastic. Nice. As far as scouting, I don't think we have any more tournaments, and we do not. So let's go ahead to June 2nd. And we're going to vote for our 4 Hall of Fame players. We nominated Teppo Numminen, so we are going to vote for him. And let's see here. Rod Brindamore. Let's see. Patrice Bergeron does have one Stanley Cup ring, I believe, from 2011. I could be wrong about that. We need one more player. Let's go Theo Fleury. I don't know much about him, but let's go with Rod Brindamore, Patrice Bergeron, Theo Fleury, and Teppo Numminen. And we will go ahead and sim one more day. As you can see, Dallas is up 3-2 in the finals. And the Dallas Stars are your Year 3 2027 Stanley Cup champions. They beat the St. Louis Blues in 6 games. They beat the Utah HC. That was good for Utah to make it to the playoffs in Year 3, 5-1. They went 7 games against the Edmonton Oilers, and they went 6 games against the Washington Capitals, losing the first 2 and then pretty much reverse sweeping Washington. It is their championship number 2 for Dallas, their first one since 1999. I believe Mark Modano was on that team, probably the only Stars player I remember from back then. And the game-winning goal scored by Jason Robertson. So congratulations to your Year 3 Dallas Stars. And now, because that was such a horrible playoffs for your Winnipeg Jets, we're just going to go ahead and jump into the offseason. So the first thing I'm going to do here is bring up some of these prospects. And we're back here. The first thing I'm going to do is try to re-sign some of the scouts that I would like to have back. So we're just going to go through and check. Actually, we'll go through this a different way. Let's go to scouting and see who the best ones are. The only ones we want to make sure we have are these 4 excellent. So let's go ahead and see if we... Nope, he has a contract. Galiev has a contract. Larson has a contract. And Vesemedi Pepinen has a contract. So the rest of the scouts, I really don't care. They can all drop off, and we will go back to re-signing them later if we need to. Let's go to the rest of the staff. And as you can see, this was the last year of my contract. Hopefully they rehire me, because I think we did have a pretty decent run. We went to Game 6 of the finals in Year 1. We missed the playoffs in Year 2. And we made the playoffs in Year 3, even though we got swept out. So it wasn't too bad for us. And all those scouts are signed, and all of these assistants are still signed. So let's go to the roster. We'll sort here by the length of the contract. Milic, let's see. We might be able to sign him to another 2-way deal. Let's go ahead and see. Where is he? Renew contract, 2 years, 1. Nope. So I do not need him. I'm going to send him down to the AHL. So let me go through the contracts. I will send down the players I do not want to re-sign, and I will bring it back when I'm done. It's Monday, June 7th. I have done some moves, made some signings, and simmed ahead a couple days. We are making a slight turnover to some younger players, so the first line stays the same. The second line, I moved Brisson up and Lucius up with Couturier. On the third line, it's going to be Beecher. Brad Lambert, the rookie, is going to play center, is puck handling 16, passing 15, offensive rate is 16. So he is going to start at third line center. And on his right is going to be Barlow, the shooter. And then on the fourth line is going to be Martinuk, Stahl. And then for defense, it's going to be Morrissey, Taves, Hackenpah. I moved Hudson Thornton up to the second pairing. And we are going to play Ty Hollett and Scott Mayfield. And as you can see, there is no Connor Hellebuck. And the reason is we just saw the... Who was it? Who did they beat in the finals? Washington. We just saw them go all the way to the finals with a 2.5 and a 1.5 star simply because their goalie was hot. And he still is. So that makes me think, as old as Connor Hellebuck is getting, he is 34. When is his birthday? In May. He just had it. So by the end of next year, he'll be 35. He's going to have 4 years left at 8.5. And he is a very good goaltender. But I think I do want to get rid of Connor Hellebuck and find another goalie, maybe even a 3-star, and free up that cap space. And as you can also see, Simon Edvinsson, I did not re-sign. Brendan Carlo is on the trade block. The contract that he wants, I'm not willing to pay. I want to move on to some newer players. 3 years at $6 million. I'm not paying a third pairing defenseman at $6 million, even though he is very good for us. And let's see, Adam Edstrom, I might trade him away. Samuel Hellenis, I did not want to re-sign. And Anthony Chiarelli, he's going to drop off. He's 29, 6 feet. He's only going to have 2 years left at 4.5. Again, I wanted to make a turnover to the younger players. Chiarelli was that fourth line right winger for us, but we have enough defense with Martinook, Stahl, and Couturier there with these bottom 3 defensemen. So I'm going to go ahead and sim ahead one day. Actually, let's take a look at the emails. First of all, I have been extended. Let's go ahead and see for how many years. 4 years. Okay, that's pretty good. That makes me feel a lot better. We did sign Jordan Stahl to a new deal. It was 1 year at 2.6. And Yanni Hakanpää, a new deal with those defensive ratings. I wanted him over Carlo because Yanni Hakanpää was 1 year at 1.8. And he is a much better defenseman. I assigned Barlow 39, Hollett 25. A trade between New York and Winnipeg, Ryan O'Reilly for a 4th. I did trade Ryan O'Reilly because I did not want to re-sign him. He's 36 years old, and those ratings were going to drop off very, very fast, so I wanted to get something out of him while I could, so I got that 4th round pick in this year's draft. Jordan Martinook signed a new deal for us. It was 2 years at $10.2 million. A trade, and here was a trade offer. This Yegor Rimashevsky, 22-year-old winger, I do not have him scouted, so I was going to reject that trade. For now, I want to make a trade that I want. And Brendan Carlo, we gave him number 52, I believe, which it really doesn't matter because we will at some point be trading him. Go ahead and sim a day. Roenick will not be resigned. So let's go ahead and see if we can shop. And I did forget Frank Vetrano, second line right winger, is on the trade block. Let's go ahead and shop him and see what we can get for either players or draft picks. And we can get a Jeremy Poirier, defenseman, Cross Hannes, a left wing. That's pretty good right there. What's his contract? He does need probably like a 3-year, $1.5 million contract, just a bridge level there. 25 years old, but that is a good player I would be willing to pick up. 23-year-old center, that is another good player I would be willing to pick up, and he would have to be re-signed. Hopefully these young guys can go back on the 2-way deals for a little extra money. Kyler Yamamoto, no. Jean-Luc Foudy, no. Jason Dickinson, 2.5. Nope. That would be a good 4th line player maybe. Let's go back and see. That was San Jose, I believe. Cross Hannes. Yes. You know, Chicago's going to be in the same division, but I think I still want to because this player is so good. He's 25. He's not going to grow much, but his offensive ratings are already pretty good. His checking and hitting was up there. So let's go ahead and do Frank Vetrano to Chicago for Cross Hannes and a 7th. We will accept that trade. Frank Vetrano, thank you for your time, but it's time for you to start somewhere else. And that was the trade, so we'll go ahead and delete that right now. The next trade, let's go ahead and shop Anthony Chiarelli. I do not want him back. So this one we will go to the Washington Capitals in the East for a 3rd round pick. And that did free up some cap, even though the cap will be going up to $90 million on July 1st. We're going to go ahead and sim ahead to June 9th. Here we are. And Cross Hands needs number 71. He can go ahead and have that number for now. Edvinson, I don't believe I can shop. Oh, I can. Okay. Do I want Edvinson? You know what? Let me give him. He could be our 7th defenseman. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Edvinson can be our 7th defenseman. 3 years at 2 point, that would be a terrible contract. I don't know about that. For a 7th, those offensive ratings are pretty good. Brendan Carlo, let's go ahead and shop Brendan Carlo. And again, draft picks or players. There we go, a defenseman contract perfect. It might be Liam Bishop. It was the Dallas Stars, Liam Bishop, 23-year-old left defenseman for Brendan Carlo. We will accept that trade. And here are his stats. He is perfectly scouted, so we know that this is the player that he is. And with that, he still has 1 year left, so we are going to send him down to the AHL to hopefully help them grow. We will go ahead and sim one more day. We do have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensemen. Cross Hannes does need that new contract, so let's go ahead and see what he wants. 2 years at 3.5, a bad contract. Can we go any more? We'll give you an extra 100,000 there to go back down to the minor leagues for a year, or for a couple years anyways. He does not want that. Let's go 2 years and see what happens. Ask for a response. Yes, so he will get that two-way deal. And let's go ahead and sim one more day for him to accept. Cross Hannes is now going to the Manitoba Moose. And a trade between Carolina and Pittsburgh, Jalen Chatfield for a 6th. I will bring it back. I am still thinking about Connor Hellebuyck, trading him away. Our finances are very healthy. We do need to re-sign Brad Lambert. He is in the lineup. And Simon Edmondson, no. Hudson Thornton needs a contract. And that will be all. So we're back here on Tuesday, June 22nd. I will go through the emails and show you what's happened. We did sign Brad Lambert. I tried to sign him and cheat the game by signing him to like a 7 or 8 year deal at $6 million per, but he's kept saying no. So we ended up meeting him at 3 years, 1.8. I wanted to lock him up for very cheap. So we did find 2 trades for Connor Hellebuyck. The first one to Detroit is Hellebuyck 2/3 from this year, and 2 prospects to the Detroit Red Wings for a 1st and a 2nd in this year's draft. And then the second trade was to the Flyers. Connor Hellebuyck 2/3 from this year, and those same 2 prospects for the Flyers 1st and 2nd round draft picks this year. We have not completed any of those trades, but here we do have a trade between Carolina and New Jersey, trade between Carolina and Dallas, and then we did sign Hudson Thornton to a bridge deal, pretty cheap, 3 years at 2.1. Now, going back to the trades, the Detroit Red Wings would be the best one because we already have Nashville's pick. We have our 1st round pick, and then so Nashville is here in 7th. We are here in 9th, but Detroit is here in 18th. And if you look at the prospects in the draft this year, there are pretty good ones. So we could even trade up for like a top 5 pick with maybe 1 or 2 first and then a 2nd and get one of these awesome players here. Let's see here. Oliver Sundberg, we could even trade up to get him. So with that, I believe the trade is going to be Connor Hellebuyck to the Detroit Red Wings for a 1st and 2nd round pick in this year's draft. And if you look at the free agents, Linus Ullmark did not play this year. And if you look at the contract he wants, 3 years at $8 million, that would be better than Connor Hellebuyck's 5 years at 8.5, and they're basically the same kind of goalie, so that would work. And then if you look at the upcoming free agents, there's a prospect goalie here from the Tampa Bay Lightning we could trade for. There's Connor Ingram. We could trade or sign for him. He's probably going to want a pretty big deal, something relatively the same. But Peter Kochkov, we could trade for him and re-sign. So there are options, but we are going to complete this massive, massive deal. And it is Connor Hellebuyck, 2/3 from the 2027 draft, and Julian Mays and Gavin Hodnett to the Detroit Red Wings for a 1st and 2nd round pick in the 2027 draft. Complete that trade. The blockbuster of the Winnipeg Jets. So let's go ahead and delete all those. I'm sure fans are not going to be very happy with that trade, but as GM, it's my job to make those hard choices. And also, 5 years left for Connor Hellebuyck. He was already 34. I did not want to have him really fall off and be stuck with that cap hit in a couple years. I wanted to get rid of him now while he still had some pretty good value. And we are on June 22nd, so we will go to the awards ceremony. And the Hart Trophy, again, most likely McDavid. Yep, The Conn Smythe, Jason Robertson, 26 and 24 plus 10. Nice job. The Calder to Joaquin Kemmel, 66 points in 71 games. Good for him. The Norris Romagnosi. No, Evan Bouchard. Okay. The Selke to Beck Melenston from the Flyers. I remember that name from like year 1. He did not play for us, but I think I either wanted to sign him or trade for him or something, but oh, good for him. The Vesna to Cal Klang, a 921 in 66 games with 7 shutouts. He is only a 3-star. He's only a 2-star goalie with a 3-star potential, and he just won the Jennings and the Vesna. So that, I guess, further proves we do not need a 4-star goalie, 34 years old, making almost $9 million a year. And the Executive of the Year, Chris Patrick in Utah. And the Jack Adams goes to Rob Scuderi in Anaheim. That's got to be like the first time ever that the Executive of the Year and the Coach of the Year were not from the same team. So we'll go ahead here, look at the rest. Leon Draisaitl with the Rocket Richard. Should have been Kyle Connor, but he fell off the last month or so. McDavid with the Art Ross. Pavel Mintyukov with a plus-minus. A plus 75. He only played 71 games and he had a plus 75. That is absolutely fantastic. Look at those stats. Next, Cal Klang with the Jennings. Sam Reinhart, Lady Bing, Matthias Ekholm, Masterson, Jamie Benn, Messier, McDavid, Ted Lindsay, and the 2027 NHL All-Stars, Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers, second team All-NHL. Rookie team, no one. Who is this? Vadim Zarenko in Philly. And then we get back to the Hart McDavid, Conn Smythe Robertson, Predators, Joaquin Kemmel with the Calder, Bouchard with the Norris, Melenston with the Selke, Cal Klang the Vesna, Executive of the Year, Chris Patrick, and Jack Adams is Rob Scuderi. So we will delete all those and go ahead to the re-signing window. Here we are. If we look at the finances, we are not signing Samuel Helenius and we are not re-signing Simon Edvinsson. So we will be pretty healthy with $20 million. Our team is pretty well set. As you can look at the lines, the only one we really need is a defensive fourth line winger. And let's go ahead and actually check the waiver, or the watch list, excuse me, to see if there's anyone we do want to try to sign here. We have Augustin, we can take him off. And because this will take so long, I will bring it back when I have this all sorted out and removed. And in case we do want to sign any players, I'll let you know. We're back here, and I did go through the watch list. And I've offered contracts to a couple players. They are all minor league deals, so it's not going to hurt us. The first one is goalie Jacob Oster. Pretty good at 23 years old. Pretty big at 6'3", 202. He might be able to grow for us. Never hurts to have prospect goalies. The second one, left winger Antonin Vero. He is pretty good there offensively. Passing and offensive read are up there pretty well. Defensive positioning and defensive read up there pretty well. The third one was Zach Nearing. This one at 22 years old, 6'3", 207. Those offensive categories and his checking and positioning, defensive read, stick checking, all pretty decent. His offense is ready for the NHL, maybe a third or fourth liner. Next one was Gabe Perreault. This one we sniped, I believe, from the Vancouver Canucks because he was playing in Abbotsford, maybe not. But as a winger, as puck handling, shooting accuracy, getting open, passing, offense, excellent already at 22. His hitting, 5'11", 179. His hitting, he could be a little bit bigger. I wouldn't want him to hit too much. He might get hurt. But his faceoffs are up at 14. His defensive read is at 15. And his speed is at 16 already, which is good at 22 years old. And the last one is Sam Rinzel. Again, a defenseman here. Those offensive categories are outstanding. His defensive read at 14, stick checking at 15, and his strength is at 18. He's only 22, but as a future right defenseman, he could be very good for us. We're going to go ahead and sim to the end of the week. And we're back here at Saturday, June 26th. We have the NHL free agency preview, which I did not really look at, but Antonin Vero, contract signed. Zach Nearing signs the deal. Players need to be assigned numbers. We're going to go ahead and keep simming to the 28th. Here we are on the 28th. Goalie Jacob Oster signs the deal. Gabe Perreault signs the new deal. And Sam Rinzel signs the new deal. A trade between Calgary and Anaheim. So we'll delete those and send those players down to the AHL. Slowly building that Manitoba Moose team to be a contender there for the Calder. And Oster. So we will sim to the last day of the season. Here we are, our season score. We did reach the playoffs. We had a winning season, and we met 2 of our objectives. And we have 4 points here. We are going to put coaching goalies, start growing that one, but offensive and defensive training and negotiating. So 11-11 tactics are 10, and negotiating skills up to a 10. Owner goal failed. Owner goal failed. Oh, that's too bad. Let's go ahead and have a look at the data on the last day of the season. 3 100-point players on the first line, and we get swept out of the first round of the playoffs. Our record was 45-30-7, 97 points. That was 4th in the Central. We look at all of these draft picks. 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and then a bunch of later round picks. The Harmony actually has some issues, but not too bad. And our job security down to a 61. We lost a playoff round, but our season-ending performance was a plus 13. And then we had a whole bunch of negatives there for trading away O'Reilly, Hellebuck, and Hellebuck again. And a very recent draft pick. So let's go ahead and sim to July 1st. It's Thursday, July 1st, day 1 of the 27-28 season. The salary cap is now $90 million, and the salary floor is now $70 million. So let's go through here and see what happened. Top selling jerseys in June: Martinook, Stahl, Scheifele, Morrissey, Ehlers. Giroux retires. Victor Hedman retires. His numbers retired by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there it is. Patrick Kane finally retires with the Vegas Golden Knights, 38 years old. Chris Letang, 40, says he's done. Gino Malkin says, I'm done at 40 years old. Ryan O'Reilly, I'm glad I traded him away. He retired just at 36 years old. Jared Spurgeon retires. Mark Stone retires, the captain of the Vegas Golden Knights. And our development report: Couturier down, Martinook down, Taves down. Top selling jerseys for June: no one for the Winnipeg Jets. Any former players? Let's see here. Connor Hellebuck, the Detroit Red Wings, number 10. And if we go look at, actually, I want to look at his career stats. Another reason I wanted to trade him away. These goals against last year, well, last year was a 307, then a 301, but before that it was 221, 239, 249, 297, 258, 257. So these and a 905 save percentage and a 911. And before that, it was 923, 921, 920, 910, 916, 922, 913, 924. So he was falling off with that age and that contract. I just wanted him off this team, and I'm happy with what I got for him in that trade with Detroit. So let's go back to the development. Top selling jerseys. Yeah. Connor Hellebuck, thank you for your time here. You got a Vezina out of it, and have fun there in Detroit. Good luck. Let's see. Trade between Carolina, Los Angeles. Trade between Chicago and Carolina. Owner confidence. The fans are satisfied. No need to worry. We expect to be in rebuild mode. I don't think so. Our offense is too good for that. But considering our 4-game sweep in round 1, maybe that's a fair assessment. Let's have a look at our finances. Our morale is good. Scouting, I'm going to drop down just for a while because we do have the draft and everyone was pretty well scouted. So if you look at finances, we are dropping it down from 100 to almost 91 million. We're going to save all of those points. We are going to go to normal marketing. We're going to normal maintenance. And for the annual budget, that's where we're going to stay. For the monthly, I dropped it down from scouting from +5 to a +2. And that is all for the yearly budget. As far as scouting goes, let's go ahead and hire scouts, see if there's any double excellent ratings out there for us. And there's not, so we're just going to go there. And United States, Western Europe, We have one double excellence, so we're going to go ahead and hire him 3 years. And Eastern Europe. And the rest of the world, none. So we're just going to go back and try to sign a couple for just 1 year or so. Let's go to staff. So our staff is still pretty good right here. Let's go ahead and renew them right now. We know Mark Brodeur, no, we do not want to re-sign you. Reyes Chimichov, he is the skills coach. And as you can see, he won a 1 year at 705 left. Let's re-sign him. Now that he's going to be just an assistant coach, he drops down to 3 years at 44,500. And Daniel Hankinen, we do want him. He had excellent prospects, forwards, and great offensive training. So Daniel Hankinen was at 1 year 525. We're going to re-sign him 3 years at 69. And that will do it for our training staff. And let's see here, scouts. There's no tournaments, correct? So we are here in free agency. See who we could possibly sign. Thatcher Demko. There we go. What kind of contract does he want? He's going to want like $8 million for a couple, probably 3 to 4 years, $8 million for Demko. 3 years at 3.5. There is your starting goalie, Thatcher Demko, right there. Our salary is at basically 65 million. We need to get up to 70 anyways. So let's go to this one, free agent center. And goalies. We do have money to spend. So Thatcher Demko, you will be the new starting goalie. 3 years at 3.5. You know what? You are 31. Yeah, we'll go 3 years just to make sure we get you. 3 years at 3.75 million for Thatcher Demko. Now we'll go to the forwards. Defensive read of at least 16. And we'll go 15 positioning, 16 defensive read. Marchand Philippe Dano. Well, that might work. Maybe a 1 year deal. Mason Appleton. No. Matt Nieto. There we go. Matt Nieto, maybe. As a fourth liner. Let's go defensive read at 16. Or down to 15. Let's go to the trade block and see. William Karlsson. Here we go. What is his contract? 1 year at 4.7. I don't believe we are not on there, so I don't believe that we can trade for him. Oh, we can. We could most certainly do that. What do they want for that? Ranzel, Lambert, Yeager, Lucius, Adam Edstrom. There we go. Adam Edstrom for William Karlsson. For 1 year, 17. Even if he drops off, his defensive read could go down to 16, positioning 16. That will work for us. And they want Adam Edstrom, who I wanted to trade away anyways. So we will go ahead and add Edstrom and complete that trade. Trade number 1 on the first day of the season. William Karlsson for Adam Edstrom. Let's go ahead and plug in William Karlsson. 1 year left. That's perfect. We still do need that winger. Excuse me. Can we go back? No. So let's filter it again and see if we can find that winger just at like a defensive read. Just at a defensive read of 16. Anything else we'll leave at 0, whatever it is. Let's go to the trade block. See. And Otto Stenberg. No. I think Ty Mueller is the one we're going to sign. 24 years old. He has those defensive ratings, and he can hold his own offensively. So let's go ahead and offer him a contract. Can I not do that? We're back here. I tried to sign Ty Mueller for the fourth line right wing, but it says he was ineligible to be signed. So I'm not sure exactly why, but we're just going to forget that. And we're still looking for that fourth line winger. Let's just go see who's back on the trade block. We're not going to filter anything, but Shesterkin on the trade block. I'm glad we don't have that deal. 31 years old, 4 years, 10 million. Sorokin, 5 years at 8 for a 31-year-old. I'm so glad that I got rid of Connor Hellebuck when I did. So we're back here. It's Friday, July 2nd. We have a update from Thatcher Demko. He is strongly leaning towards signing with us. We have a trade, Buffalo, New Jersey. Pittsburgh, Nashville trade, Reed Schaefer for Vlasic. LA, Pittsburgh, there. LA, New York. William Karlsson wants his number 71. You can have that, and he is happy with that one. So here we are, free agent center. The only one, Winnipeg at 3.75 for Thatcher Demko. And let's go ahead and sim to the draft announcement. It's Monday, July 5th, and we're going to jump into the draft lottery. At 16 is Vancouver, 15 Winnipeg, Ottawa, Florida, Carolina, Colorado. Ooh, no, Colorado. Movement already. Boston goes from 10th to 11th. And Calgary 9th to 10th. Vegas 8-9. Chicago 7-8. Seattle 6-7. Carolina 5 to 6. And San Jose goes from 3rd to 5th. The Hurricanes drop back again from 2nd to 4th. The New Jersey Devils 1st to 3rd. So Colorado, I believe, should be 2nd. Yes. And your New York Islanders go from 4th up to 1st and win the draft lottery. And this is your draft order. We have the 15th, 22nd, 24th, 37th, and 52nd pick. So with 3 first and 2 second round picks, we can most certainly move up to maybe a top 10 draft pick, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of good players here we can get in those first couple rounds. I don't really see anyone who could take that away from him. He is the only 5-star potential, and he's already 2 rated. But I think actually we'll save the draft for next time. So with that, let me know what you think. Was Connor Hellebuyck worth trading, or was that a complete disaster? And did I just sink this team for the next 4, 5, or 6 years? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.